I can say as my opinion that this amp produces the nicest clean tones I've ever heard. What I hope for in this video, however, is to convince you that this is also the nicest clean tones you've ever heard. Today we look at the Victory MK Clean Combo 30 watt amp 112. What is up, YouTube? My name is Buddy Blues, And today we look at the Victory MK Clean. This bad boy right here is my best friend now. Victory last year, I think maybe a year and a half ago, came out with their MK line. They have an MK Clean, it was a head and a cab. An MK Clean and an MK Overdrive. And ever since I saw that MK Clean, I thought, man, this is so cool. It looks amazing. And the matching head and cab are the most beautiful on the market, in my opinion. They are the most beautiful on the market. Why? Because you get to customize them. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I can get a white cab with a white matching and all of that. And I'm thinking, what if they did a combo? I love the head and cab idea. I really do. I think I might end up buying the MK Overdrive as a head, but this is not today's special. But I wanted something powerful that I could carry and take to gigs and have it be my main gigging amp and maybe have it be one of my main YouTube amps and all of that. So I'm thinking, yeah, a combo would be cooler. It would look cool sitting over there. As a YouTuber, you gotta think about these things. It'll look cool sitting in the corner and all that. And lo and behold, I go to NAMM and here it is. So after the success of the whole head and cab thing, those were 100 watts, the whole head and cab, they wanted to make combos. Now, all the accoutrements that you get on the big boys, the 100 watts, the head and cab, you can also get on this. If you go to their website, you can customize the heck out of them. And I don't know which blue it's called, but go on Instagram and Victory's Instagram and look at, they have a blue one. Oh my God. A few things I want to adjust before I get into the nitty gritty of the amp and what is it supposed to be? What does it do? I'm not being paid to do this video. However, I am a huge Victory fan. So take that with however you want to take it. I bought their V140. They sent me the Deputy for a demo. I ended up buying that. They wanted it back. They said send it back. I said no. So I bought it from them. Anyway, huge fan of the company, huge fan of the people. What is this? What is the MK line? The MK Clean, what is it? It is the epitome. I call it the king of cleans. It is the epitome of cleans. Do you want an amp that's going to remain very full, very clean, have that crisp, you know, if you're playing a single coil Strat type thing, has that crisp and that instant attack? Think like John Mayer sound. And if you also want to put pedals in front of it, it'll accept them perfectly. And if you want to crank the heck out of it for a gig, I played a gig at an amphitheater, I think 2-3 weeks ago, and I took this amp and it was the only thing that was not mic'd on that stage. Here's the proof. And it held its own, and it was the baddest thing on that stage, I must say. So the MK Clean line and the MK, you know, the MK line from Victory, that's their top of the line stuff. They're handcrafted in England. They're hand wired in England. They are hand Tolexed or leathered. This is leather in England. Everything is done by hand in England by the Victory team. So you are getting the most experienced hands in Tolexing, the most experienced hands in voicing an amp with Martin Kidd, the most experienced hand in assembly. All of that is going into this. That translates into the price, but it is not as crazy as people think. I'm not saying it's a drop in the bucket Blues Jr. type money. No, this is some high-end stuff. But it's not in the territory of, you know, that company that rocks twice. And the reason I mentioned that company, I'm not trying to pin anybody against anybody, but I see a lot of comparison online to them. Tonally, not really. Is this close to a Dumble? Sure. Isn't a Dumble close to a Fender? I mean, does it have that sound, that, if you will, the company that rocks twice and the Dumble sound? You can get it out of it, but that's not all it is. This is not a Dumble clone in any way, shape, or form. It has the topology, perhaps. It has the mid hump, perhaps. And it has a switch that allows you to cut the mids. Let's talk about those switches. All the way from left to right, you have presence, that controls the presence of the amp, master volume, then come your reverb controls. You have a reverb in level and a reverb out level that gives you the utmost control of your reverb. How much tails you want, how much instant reverb you want, and how long it lasts. Then you have a regular 3-band EQ. I keep mine at 12. I keep all my Victory amps at 12 o'clock because that's, I don't know how they do it. I think they voice them all at 12. If I want more treble, sure, I'll push it, but I find myself always putting everything at 12 and it's perfect. Then they have their famed bass shift switch. What that does is it doesn't cut the bass, it shifts the bass. It shifts the bass of the EQ from very low to, I would say, very low mids, very high bass. It's a 1-channel amp, but it allows you to have a master any volume. This is the volume. I keep mine at max because I want that instant attack. I want it to feel like it's about to break up, but we'll talk about breakup in a second. Then you have a voice switch. That one takes it from a flat EQ to my ears, from a flat EQ to a mid hump. If you want that John Mayer sound, if you want a clone built into your pedal without the overdrive, just the EQ of a clone, you hit that switch down and you're in John Mayer territory. On the back, you have their excellent effects loop that you're able to turn on and off. I keep mine on off because I don't really use the effects loop and I don't know if it makes any difference, but I keep it on off. You have many options for speaker outs. And this is where you bias the amp. Don't bias the amp, you will more than likely perish. And finally, this 112 combo comes fitted with a Celestian gold that sounds magnificent and full and just meaty. Now I have the 112. 112 is my favorite configuration for anything in the world. They also make a 210 and I got to play that. Allow me to get emotional. This was one of the happiest moments of my life and I will link it below if you want to watch it. I was walking in front of the Victory booth at NAMM and Lee Anderton stops me. They were there filming for their own channel, you know, the famous Anderton's channel. They were there filming the Victories. You know how they film every year, everything. Makes you feel like you went to NAMM with them. They were filming at Victory and Lee asked me, hey, you want to jam with Pete on this? And this was the happiest moment of my life. Check this video out. It's the happiest moment of my life. It really is. Anyway, I plugged into this one and Pete plugged into the 210. You could really hear the difference if you listen to that video. I'll link it below again. It's on Anderton's. It's a big difference, but I prefer the fullness rather than the directness of the 110. I prefer the fullness of the 112. This amp truly produces the nicest cleans I have ever heard. It has the most luscious, thick, engulfing, it wraps you, it hugs you type of reverb. Type of reverb that you could get lost in. It's 30 watts. What does that mean? It means you can take it to any gig known to man on earth. Venue, bar, small gig, huge gig, arena, amphitheater. That's where I was 2 weeks ago. Amphitheater. And it will suffice and it will crush the drums. It's loud, it's full, and it does not break up. What do I mean by that? The preamp section, that's what we usually associate with breakup. Sure, you can break up the power section and by putting the master up. Cool, that's not a sound I like. But the preamp section, it's fullest when that's where you're gonna see me play the most. I'm gonna have it cranked. That volume that's all the way over there, here, is going to be cranked to max. It does not, it's almost there, but it doesn't really break up. If you want an amp that breaks up, it's the V140 Super Duchess. Are they the same? Absolutely not. Do they sound the same? Absolutely not. Are the cleans on the V140 immaculate? Yes, they are, and they are excellent. That amp, you're able to break up by putting the volume on 10. We're not talking about that amp. But anyway, you put the volume on 10, it breaks up and it breaks up very well. But that's not this amp's job. Can I tow a trailer with a Ferrari? Yes, that's not the job. Should I buy a semi-truck for just me and my wife? I could. It's not the job. This has one job and it does it brilliantly. Anyway, I'm gonna play it now and I'm gonna play my smallest pedal board. You've seen it a million times. This one right here. So anytime you hear a pedal, it's gonna be one of these guys. They're not the star of the show, but Fuzz, Boost, the Dutch 2 by LPD, and a delay. I don't know if I'll turn the delay on or not, but that's what you hear. But I want to focus mostly on the cleans. Please, I beg you to wear headphones or something and really immerse yourself into this. Mind my mistakes, but immerse yourself into the sound of the amp. Proudly, Victory MK Clean aux box. Let's get to it. Oh! Oh! I have nothing in my hands, but I have my best friend to my left. It's very heavy. I would put it here and slap it and do stuff. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you have now heard the Victory MK Clean 112 combo. Am I happy they make a combo in their MK series? You damn right I am. And it was the smartest move Victory could have done. Because everybody likes the look of a head and cab. They're big, they're tall, they're tall. I have one here, you can't see it, it's off camera. It's tall, the whole head and cab thing is big and tall, and for some it's bulky. But a lot of people wanted the MK Clean, and some people bought heads and whatever, and they played them through their aux box and stuff like that. That's lovely and that's great, or they put it on a mismatching cab. But deep down inside, you want that matching cab of the same color. That's at least that's how I think. If I get a cab, I would want to have its matching cab. I have a Victory Deputy outside, and it sits on a PRS cab, and I hate it. I hate that they don't match. And I think they're out of stock, but when they're in stock, I'm gonna get myself a what, 212 for the Victory Deputy. Because it's the thing, it's the look, why not? Victory did a remarkable job with this one. It was my absolute honor to play it on the Andertons channel along with Danish Pete. I got to play with Danish Pete. I'm putting that on my resume. It was a blast. And me hearing that amp at NAMM, if you've seen footage of NAMM or you've been to NAMM, you can't hear yourself speak, you can't hear yourself think. Getting hit with that clean, it was it for me. It's got the fullness, the roundness, the mids that I like. And if I ever want more mids, if I've got, you know, a 355 and the Strat, I could switch down that voice switch when I go to the Strat, and it gives me even more mids. And then any overdrive in front of it literally would sound like a clon, like a real clon. And I'm in John Mayer, that big, you know, Strat sound. Like I said at the beginning, I'm a huge fan of Victory amps, and I'm an even bigger fan of the family behind Victory. The people that are behind Victory. We tend to think of companies as companies. Victory, like Victory is a person. Mr. Victory is one person and he's this huge conglomerate. They're not. I can count on my hands how many people work at Victory. And I hope one day you get to meet them. I hope one day you get to meet Martin and Anthony and Amy and all these guys. They are the nicest people. They're so passionate about this stuff that their passion is contagious towards you with their product. Whether you know of any of the people that I mentioned or not, whether you knew that Martin Kidd is the guy behind Victory that's making Victory amps and all that, whether you knew that name or not, you know of him, because if you buy a Victory product or you play it or you try it at a store, you're getting that passion through the amp. And that's the beauty of this art. That's the beauty of Victory. Again, I'm not a Victory artist even. I'm not paid by Victory to do this and blah, 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 blah. They're just good people, and good people deserve to be shouted out every once in a while. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome. If it's not, welcome back. My name is Buddy Blues. Hey, this is my best friend, MK Clean. That's what I call him, okay? I call it the King of Cleans. I don't care what they want. They want to call it MK Clean. Cool. I'm going to call it the King of Cleans. If you haven't yet liked this video, dislike it. Fucking thumbs down, so who fucking cares? No, I'm kidding. If you haven't yet liked this video, please give it a like, give it a share, show it to someone who wants the ultimate clean amp. An amp with a mission, an amp with one mission, and it does that mission so damn good. Share it with that person and tell them to buy you one. Now what? I have been Buddy Blues, you have been the people of the blues. Thank you to Victory for existing, and thank you for watching. Until next time.